just looking at the opening weekend schedule, it'll be our first weekend with the AHL on FloHockey. And, as I mentioned, we've got Syracuse and Utica kicking us off. But Patrick, were there any other games that you saw on the schedule for that opening weekend that you're circling on your calendar to make sure you're watching?
Yeah, definitely. The first one was opening night, Friday the 11th. I like when there's a rivalry at the NHL level that you get to see a little bit of it at the AHL level, and that's Providence Laval. Now they don't really have a rivalry like the Habs and Bruins do, but when you get those two teams together like that, that certainly does permeate down. And um, obviously Providence year in and year out is always a competitive team. They haven't had a lot of playoff success in a bit, but certainly they're a team that every year the Boston Bruins make an effort to put a solid roster together in Providence. And Laval, you have Pascal Vincent coming in off the Columbus Blue
Yep.
Jackets stint, and uh, quite a markedly different roster there. And then mixed in with some real exciting young prospects in Laval like Luke Tuck and Owen Beck and Philip Machar, and right down the list of possibly Logan Mayu, and just a real good group there. And then the following day, I'm kind of a fan of the really weird, um, unconventional matchups. So I'll go with San Diego and Toronto. Um,
Yeah, how about
two
that
teams
one?
that never played each other. They came close a few years back. They each got to the Final Four, but didn't come to pass. But yeah, kind of a little bit of a weird, quirky matchup between two teams that never have seen each other. And San Diego is going to be a much different team. And then obviously we know Toronto every year. The Leafs and the Marlies put together a pretty good operation there at the AHL level. So that should be fun. I think I know the San Diego Gulls players are excited to go there and get a chance to play in Toronto. It's, whatever level you're talking about, it's always exciting for players to go back there.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, like that was one I was looking at too, because it is an interesting thing. And I also think the San Diego Gulls, if anybody's been paying attention to the NHL draft lately and they've seen what the Anaheim Ducks have been doing and building, they have one of the deepest prospect systems of any team in the NHL. The top end is very high end. A lot of those guys will be playing at the NHL level, but that also leaves a lot of room for them to send guys to San Diego, which they have done already even. And, getting guys that are going to be significant players for them down the line. Going to be very interested to see some of their young defensemen that'll be playing for their team. They have a number of other players that they brought in to kind of bolster their lineup and as well. And then, I mean, who wouldn't love playing pro hockey in San Diego? And obviously now they have the chance to go play on the big stage in Toronto against the Marlies. Another game that I'll be keeping fairly close tabs on. And this is a team that I'm actually really fascinated to follow throughout the season is the Grand Rapids Griffins. They're going to be hosting Milwaukee on opening night. Last year it was fun when you would see those two teams play against each other, because you'd often see, a Sebastian Kosa versus Yaroslav Askarov kind of matchup thing. That will not be the case this year, because Askarov is no longer a member of the Milwaukee Admirals. He's been moved to the San Jose Sharks organization. But Kosa very much, this is a big season for him. He's a prospect I'll be following very closely. I think this is probably one of the years where it's like, all right, it's time to really take that next big step forward towards being an NHL starter. He's a first-round goalie draft pick. And Milwaukee is always that's a team that's always going to be competitive. That Nashville is always relied heavily on their AHL development in order to bolster their NHL lineup. So, I think that's a fun one to keep an eye on as well. And then, just kind of looking up and down the list throughout the rest of that weekend. I mean, a Saturday night is a loaded slate of games. I mean, we are talking over a dozen games that you're going to be able to kind of take a look at here and to see that. But one of the things that I'm most looking forward to, and this is selfish, is the return of the fish sticks, the fisherman jersey with the Bridgeport Islanders. Bridgeport is rocking the retro New York Islanders logo with the fisherman. I love that look. I am a child of, I was born in the 80s and a child of the 90s. So that is certainly a fun one for me. It's a bit of a goofy thing to look forward to, obviously with all the great prospects that are going to be playing, but the fisherman is back and I am excited for it. There are a number of teams, Grand Rapids, another team that did a little bit of a revamp of the jersey. And, I think that's one of the great things about the AHL and hockey in general is the aesthetics of this game and the many different jerseys that you're able to see in this, or, sweaters, if that's your preference. I apologize to those that I may have offended with my, but I'm, a Jersey guy. So not from New Jersey, but a Jersey guy either nonetheless. So a lot of exciting things kind of to look forward to in that opening weekend. So again, October 11th opening night. Do not miss it, and subscribe now so that you don't miss a second